This is a true horrifying story of Hamdan School in Uganda. This school is an Islamic boarding school for girls. It was donated by one of the royal family members of Dubai 22 years ago. This story was submitted by Afra. An Arabic girl back in 2009 was a student at this high school. She knew that the school was haunted and that there was a graveyard right behind the school. And she heard rumors of many incidents where girls were possessed by jinns. But everything else about the school seems fine, because it's one of the most successful Islamic boarding schools in that region. But that does not deny the fact that jinns may live inside the school. Afra experienced something, and being in her 30s today, this one incident will always haunt her. Afra had a mutual friend that was a student in that same school. She was regularly possessed by one jinn. Out of all the religious students, she was one of the very few that didn't really care about the Islamic education. She always used to party, drink, hangs out with guys, and the jinn that used to possess her was surprisingly a Muslim. He was just furious that she used to disobey her family and her religion. They brought her to one of the halls in the school and they started a ruqya session. Afra was there witnessing the whole thing. After many attempts of trying to make this jinn speak, he finally responded. I am possessing this girl because she disobeys. I will not leave until she changes. They were all shocked and they proceed with the recitation. The moment they stop, just for a few seconds, the possessed girl stares at Afra. Who is this girl? Why is she very quiet? She is very pretty, very nice, but I cannot go near her. Afra froze in her place. She felt numb all around and she was not able to move a single muscle. The Imam was intrigued, so he asks the jinn, why can't you go near her? What is stopping you? It was a back and forth questioning. The jinn kept saying, I can't. Why can't you? Until it responded. There is someone in front of her with light. What does that mean? They ask. There is someone in front of her with light. I can't go near her. They couldn't interpret what this was exactly. It could have been the veil of light from the Adhkar. But regardless, Afra will never forget the demon's eyes staring deep into her soul, wanting to possess her. This is a true horrifying story of the most haunted house in Libya, Hosh al-Sittin. Hosh means house and Sittin means 60. This house is known amongst the majority of Libyan people. It's been abandoned for many years and it's the only house in that whole deserted area, and it is infested with jinns. There are hundreds of stories about this abandoned house, and everyone that's been there experienced horrible things. There are stories about people that have spent nights inside this house and they died a few days later. Whatever entity lives inside that house does not want you in there, period. In haunted places, jinns don't usually intimidate their guests right away. But in this place, people have reported children and baby cries minutes after walking inside. Many years ago, there was a group of soldiers that temporarily camped behind the house for a few days. There was a military procedure going on in that area. They didn't look at the house, nor did they bother going anywhere near it. On the first day, late at night, the men started hearing screams of a little boy shouting for help inside that house. They were all terrified from the noises. They knew that there was no boy inside that house. That was a jinn. All of them came close and they flashed their torches at the house from a distance. But there was no sign of anyone inside. One of the soldiers ridiculed the situation and he goes inside. See, there's nothing that can harm us, he said. Later on that night, the noises eventually stopped. A few weeks later, that same man was driving down the road of that house. It was dark and it was raining heavily outside. He sees a cat in the middle of the street and he swerves. The car immediately loses control and one of the axles breaks. The car wouldn't start. He didn't know where he was exactly. So he hops out the car and there it is. The house, Hosh al-Sittin, was right in front of him. He knew The close call of a fatal car crash could have been intentional. No one knows. Do they want him back inside? Or did they want to kill him because of what he did? This is a true horrifying story of a real devil's game. We've all heard about games such as the Ouija board, the coroner's game, the elevator game, and much more. From a religious perspective, these are not games. They are rituals or sihr that summon jinns. There's a game, or more like a ritual, called Charlie Charlie. It may be as dangerous or even more dangerous than the Ouija board. Charlie Charlie involves a board or a paper and two pencils. Two no's, two yeses, and two pencils balanced on top of each other intersecting. Back in 2015, the Charlie Charlie game was a trend on Vine. Users would play this game and post their reactions. Now, most of them were setups, they were fake. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the game doesn't work, because some of the vines were real. The game requires a spoken ritual and of course a welcome call to summon a jinn. I don't want to show you the details on how to start playing the game, but I will show you a clip of how this ritual looks like when a jinn is playing with you. Warning, I'm about to show you real footage of someone playing this game.
Charlie Charlie, are you here? Oh yeah, right. Charlie Charlie, are you going to leave? Charlie Charlie, can you leave? Charlie Charlie, can I go? Charlie Charlie, are you going to hurt me?
Just like the Ouija board, there's no life inside that block of wood. There's no life inside this piece of paper. These games are just tools for the paranormal beings to speak with you. Things may go very wrong if these beings felt intimidated. Many of you don't understand how powerful jinns can be. Now, of course, setting this up and just chanting Charlie Charlie will not make this game work. But regardless, even if you were taught how to play, stay away from such games. You do not want to tie yourself around a being you cannot see. This is a true horrifying story of the game Red Door, Yellow Door. This game is pretty simple. You lay down and your partner chants red door, yellow door, any other color door until you enter a trance state. You will see two doors. You pick one door. Behind every door there is a room, and in every room there are two doors. And the cycle keeps going. All of these paranormal games have origins or a history of how these games started. However, researchers were unable to find any origins of the game Red Door, Yellow Door. This game has several names, such as Black Door, White Door, but one of the names is called The Doors of Your Mind. The difference between both is The Doors of Your Mind is not a game. It is more of a spiritual ritual where you lay down in a dark room, light up candles, and you know what may happen next. Red Door, Yellow Door is just a children's variant of The Doors of Your Mind. However, they both kind of work the same with minor differences. But what are the dangers behind this game? This game plays with hypnosis, which is incredibly dangerous. It is very possible for a player to go into an actual trance state, at which point he or she is under hypnosis, being guided by someone who knows nothing about hypnosis. That's the psychological side of the game. But religiously, if things went wrong during the game, you may cause severe spiritual damage. Oh, fun fact, jinns can easily enter a person's thoughts. Jinns can manipulate your exploration during your trance state. That is why one of the main warnings behind this game is, if you see people behind these doors, avoid talking to them, because that may not be your imagination. And to prove this fact, one of the most common ways jinns get into someone's head is during hypnagogia. Hypnagogia is the transitional state of consciousness between wakefulness and sleep. And in this game, you may feel very uncomfortable during your hypnagogic state. Warning, I'm about to show you a video of a person who went through this state by playing this game, and it did not end very well. This is a true horrifying story of the witch in Jeddah. This story was submitted by Iffat, a Saudi Arabian girl that narrated her aunt's story. The aunt's name is Noura. Noura was in her 20s when she recently got married back in 2003. She had a newborn baby at the time, so she needed help in the house. She hired a nanny from Indonesia that was previously fired from another house in Riyadh. This all started from day one. This Indonesian nanny would help Noura around the house with carrying furniture. She was very petite, but she had the power to lift heavy objects like it was paper. She would also cook food on such a fast pace, it was just not ordinary. And she would spend 4 to 5 hours daily in the guest toilet downstairs. Noura had no idea what was going on. One night, Noura was awakened by loud noises coming from one of the bedrooms late at night. She walked towards the room and had a peek, and she saw something that was terrifying. It was the nanny in the dark, wearing a white mask on her face, chanting gibberish. She saw Noura and she immediately jumped in her bed. The next day, they sent her out to buy some groceries. And while she was out, Noura goes inside her bedroom and inspects her belongings, as she was very suspicious. She found bags of strange leaves. She found reptile skin, fingernails, bags of hair strands, pictures of the Saudi Arabian family she worked for, with holes punched through the faces, and a voodoo doll. Noura and her husband contacted the authorities, and they had to act like they didn't see anything. They wanted her paperwork to be prepared for her to leave the country, because if she found out that they know, she will harm them. They eventually tricked her and had her put on a plane with her ritual belongings left in the house. Days later, Noura finds out that this woman also attempted to harm them. She slowly started finding pieces of black magic rituals buried inside and around the house. In the following weeks, they had a sheikh come over and cleanse the house. But what do you think would have happened if she wasn't caught? This is a true horrifying story of a viewer that saw one of my videos and did not take my warning seriously. A TikToker by the name Ali watched the TikTok series that warns viewers about one of the world's most dangerous books, Shams al-Ma'arif. Ali was able to get his hands on an original copy of this book. He disregarded the warnings and he read a small section of the book. This is a quick recap on what this book really is. I posted a few videos explaining the dangers behind this book. One of the parts is part 25. This book was written in Arabic around 800 years ago by an author named Ahmed al-Buni. The book carries black magic rituals that are so dangerous, most of them are not even being performed today. This book was lost and forgotten for all those years, and I spoke about it for the first time in many years. The 3 videos totaled to 13 million views, and some of the viewers ignored the warning. They took the risk and they read the book. Ali is one of them. These are the symptoms Ali faced after reading the book. He read a very small section and he had the Quran playing in his home, and then he heard sudden knocking sounds. He felt something touching his legs. And he claimed that listening to the Quran was not helping his situation. Hours later, he was not able to get up and pray, but he eventually fought the pain. Now, he released 19 videos warning viewers not to read it, and he quoted, "You will regret reading this book." He also posted a video of himself dancing and shaking his feet, but he swears to God that this was not him dancing. On day 2, Ali was shivering all day and he was still unable to fight his inner demons. In a lot of his videos, I was tagged by my followers asking me to help the brother out. But you see, this is why I told you to stay away, and you decided not to listen. I explained the consequences and how some things cannot be undone. Only the people who associate with jinns are safe to read this book. You and I, we're not invited. Countless of people have suffered from demonic possession for many years after committing such mistakes. If you're really interested in magic, go read some Harry Potter books, bro. But stay away from this one, because this book can kill you.